When survival becomes the only option, every decision can mean life or death. These new survival and disaster movies and series push people into situations where instinct matters more than courage. Here are 8 intense survival stories you should not miss. An international flight from Los Angeles to Shanghai turns into a nightmare when the plane is forced to make an emergency landing in the open ocean. The wrecked fuselage quickly begins to sink, and the surviving group of passengers find themselves in waters teeming with sharks attracted to the wreckage. Every minute increases the risk, and panic is as dangerous as the predators lurking beneath the surface. People from different countries and backgrounds must immediately learn to work together despite their fear and the chaos. This is a survival thriller based on isolation, pressure, and immediate threat to life. Limited space, no rescue, and predators all around create constant tension. There is no time for long planning. There are quick decisions, improvisation, and a brutal fight for survival in a place where humans are no longer at the top of the food chain. A famous figure skater gets lost during a promotional event in the Arctic and finds herself completely alone on a drifting ice floe. When the ice begins to drift south and gradually melt, the situation turns into a direct fight for survival. With no contact with the outside world, extreme cold, and limited options, every move must be carefully considered. The protagonist uses her training, discipline, and mental resilience to survive in an environment that does not forgive mistakes. This is a survival thriller based on isolation, tension, and the growing threat of nature. Instead of spectacular effects, there is realism, time pressure, and the physical limits of human endurance. Here, the enemy is not man, but the merciless conditions and the slow, inevitable drift towards disaster. This is a catastrophic action thriller set against the backdrop of a gigantic, uncontrollable fire that spirals out of control and begins to threaten entire regions. The story focuses on a group of rescuers and firefighting specialists who are sent into the heart of the fire to create the titular Firebreak, the last barrier that can stop the elements. The situation is complicated by a series of wrong decisions and hidden negligence, which turn the rescue operation into a fight for survival. The film builds tension through time pressure, extreme conditions, and the conflict between orders and the real threat on the ground. It is a story about a force of nature that does not negotiate and about people forced to make decisions when every kilometer and every minute counts. What would you do to survive? Your decisions start now.
If you're seeing this, something went terribly wrong. I don't know how long I'll make it. I need you to help me decide what to do next. The plane crashed in the mountains. I can stay near the wreck and wait for rescue, or leave now before night falls. What would you do? The storm is getting worse every minute. If I stop, I might freeze. What, walking blind could kill me too. I need your decision. I finally found water, but it could be contaminated. Drink now and risk sickness, or keep going thirsty. Something is moving out there. I can start a fire and reveal my position, or stay hidden and hope it passes. What should I do? You've seen every scenario. Now choose the one you think would be worse for you. Plane crash, mountain survival, storm, or isolation. Tell me in the comments, what would you do?
Winter 1982. 3 young Americans visiting Norway board a cable car that suddenly stops high above the mountain terrain. They are trapped in the air, cut off from help, and unable to descend quickly. The situation becomes even more disturbing when they discover that they are not alone, and traces of a crime and a hidden mystery appear around them. Isolation, frost, and growing fear begin to take their toll faster than the lack of supplies. Every decision can worsen their situation. This is a survival thriller with elements of mystery, based on claustrophobia, tension, and the gradual discovery of the truth. Instead of big action, there is suspense, silence, and a growing sense of danger that the worst is yet to come. An unexploded bomb from the war is found in the city center, and a routine security operation quickly turns into a crisis on a massive scale. A specialized unit arrives on the scene and must work under pressure amid chaos and growing panic. Every decision could lead to disaster, and the situation is complicated by the presence of civilians and conflicting orders from above. Explosives experts are faced with a choice between procedure and instinct when the threat proves to be more complex than initially assumed. The film builds tension through operational realism, confined locations, and a constant countdown to a possible detonation. It is a thriller about stress management, responsibility, and the fine line between composure and an irreversible mistake. A former Special Forces agent is brutally torn from his world when his daughter is kidnapped by a closed, aggressive community operating outside the law. Cut off from support and left alone against a group that controls the land and its people, he must return to his most dangerous skills. Every step is a risk. Every confrontation could be his last. The rescue mission quickly turns into a hunt, where the line between justice and obsession begins to blur. The film focuses on raw tension, direct action, and the psychological pressure of a lone hero acting against organized violence. It is a story of determination, anger, and the fight for family, where there is no room for mistakes or second chances. After a devastating plane crash leaves a group of young survivors stranded on a remote island, they are forced to build a new life without adults, rules, or hope of rescue. At first, they try to cooperate, creating structure and leadership, but fear, hunger, and growing mistrust begin to tear the group apart. As tensions rise and power struggles emerge, survival turns into a psychological battle where morality slowly collapses. Stranded far from civilization, they must confront not only the dangers of nature, but the darkness awakening within themselves. A quiet day at high school suddenly turns into a nightmare when students hear an emergency announcement suggesting a crisis situation. At first, everyone thinks it's just a safety drill, but it quickly becomes clear that the threat is real. Outside, a zombie epidemic breaks out, and the city descends into chaos. The main character, Sloane, and a group of students barricade themselves in the school building, trying to survive the first hours of the apocalypse. Cut off from their families, without adult help, and without information about what is happening outside the walls, the young heroes must learn to work together, fight for supplies, and make difficult decisions on which their lives depend. The film combines zombie horror with a survival atmosphere, showing fear, desperation, and the struggle for survival in a place that, just a moment ago, was an ordinary school reality.
Surviving disasters is one thing, surviving the infected is another. Click the video on screen and see how the zombie outbreak begins.